right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Mild means melting when the rain moves in this week to wash that dirty snow and salt away, and if it impacts any of your commutes.
Tonight, a vital set of wheels back in the right hands.
Thank you to you guys for doing this story so that I can get my car back.
A stolen wheelchair-accessible van found just hours after the victim made her plea on 5 on your side. Our top story, a new lead tonight in the search for who killed a 15-year-old girl and a heartbroken mother's search for answers.
I just want my child back. I want justice.
Tonight, St. Louis police are hoping newly released surveillance video will lead to arrests. Good evening, I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Kelly Jackson. Detectives believe the people in the video are responsible for killing Dornay Hayes in South St. Louis back in May. 5 on your side's Laura Barcheski talked with the teen's family tonight, and understandably, they are still heartbroken, Laura.
Mike and Kelly, Dornay's family is truly heartbroken and has been trying to piece together what happened to her for months. Now they're hoping this video and their plea will encourage people to come forward.
Dornay Hayes was my second oldest of 4. She's 15 years old.
Only 15 years old when she was shot and killed while charging her phone. It happened outside of a home on Miami Street around 11 p.m. on May 21st.
She ran away to be with a so-called friend 2 weeks prior to that.
St. Louis police released this surveillance video that shows 2 people walking toward a home, then shows them running down the street, and moments later a dark-colored car drives by as someone shoots Dornay from the moving car and speeds away.
If they know the car, if they know the people, if they heard anything, like, anything, just, speak up.
Dornay's mom, Marissa Wallace, says she wants to set the record straight.
She wasn't in the streets like most people try to make it out to be.
And the changing rumors and stories flying around aren't getting them or the police the answers they need to hold people accountable.
I don't even have the words to say at times because I just want my child back. I want justice. I'm not out looking for no harm. I just want justice so my child can rest and be at peace.
Dornay's sisters and cousins will always remember her like this.
She was probably like 13 on this one. She was 15 on this one. This is a baby picture of us.
Oh, that's you two together?
Yeah,
oh,
and then
baby picture.
This is a picture of us.
I ain't have my stuff on. I just got out of school.
I got her ashes in her.
A loving, caring teenager who enjoyed dancing with them and was looking forward to her sweet 16.
For me to lose my sister at 12 is hard. And then I look around at Tom and I smell her clothes just to see if I could get a scent off of her or something. Like, it's sad because I see my sister stuff everywhere I look. They took her at an age where she didn't even get to see the world, and we are angry.
St. Louis police ask anyone with information to call the Homicide Division directly at 314-444-5371. If you want to remain anonymous and possibly receive a cash reward, call Crime Stoppers at 866-371-8477.
Just 1 month into the new year, and gun violence is already taking its toll on children, particularly in North St. Louis County. New at 10, Robert Townsend has the sobering statistics a new group of concerned moms hopes to change.
On Sunday afternoon, police say someone shot a teenage boy on Criterion Avenue in North St. Louis County. He was rushed to a hospital with life-threatening injuries. Officers arrested a suspect. The next day, in an unrelated incident about 5 miles away, investigators say 4-year-old Aubriana Muex was shot on Castle Drive, also in North County. She died at a hospital.
A 4-year-old? Absolutely ridiculous. It's unheard of.
Connie Johnson is the president of the newly formed group Mamas Against Homicides. The 6 mothers partnered with the nonprofit Breaking Generational Poverty in hopes of breaking the disturbing gun violence that continues to injure or kill children and teenagers in St. Louis County.
When you see something, say something.
Johnson's only child, her 23-year-old son, Jay Pearson, was shot and killed in North County nearly 14 years ago.
These are our family members, and they're dying daily. We want the government to do something. Somebody needs to do something.
Police say in 2024, 20 youngsters suffered injuries with firearms. The victims range from 2 to 17 years old. There were 9 homicides with firearms. Those victims range from 15 to 17 years old. Connie Johnson is now crossing her fingers, hoping more moms will come forward and join her organization. They simply want to stop the violence that's taking young lives.
We're going to partner together and with a couple other groups and try to have a safe summer. Come up with some ideas so that we can stop this.
Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
Police have not released any new information about the shooting that claimed the 4-year-old's life. To learn more about Mamas Against Homicides, you can go to KSDK.com and click on the As Seen on TV section.
New details tonight about a shooting inside a Schnuck store in Florissant. Prosecutors have charged Derek Johnson with first-degree assault for yesterday's shooting at the Cross Key store. Investigators say he confronted the victim in the frozen food section with a loaded handgun and chased them to another aisle. The victim then shot Johnson in the stomach. He was taken to the hospital for treatment.
Developing tonight with just minutes to spare, a federal judge stepped in to temporarily halt a Trump administration order to pause spending on federal grants and loans. The announcement of the funding freeze earlier today plunged state organizations across the country into chaos and confusion. However, the White House stressed it only targeted foreign aid, DEI, gender ideology, and the Green New Deal. But Democrats called foul.
Social Security benefits, Medicare benefits, food stamps, welfare benefits, assistance that is going directly to individuals will not be impacted by this pause.
Donald Trump and his administration have not earned the benefit of the doubt. They are either lying to us or they are critically incompetent.
States and organizations across the country.
The stay is intended to give the judge time to hear more fleshed out arguments and could block the freeze for an additional 2 weeks. Well, just hours ago, Missouri Governor Mike Keogh delivered his first State of the State address.
And tonight, Democrats and Republicans are applauding Keogh's calls to expand early childhood education. However, other parts of his speech are sure to spark intense debate. Our political editor Mark Maxwell reports from Jefferson City.
Governor Mike Keogh appeared to become overwhelmed with emotion during his first ever State of the State address, leaning on his personal biography, some of his mother's economic struggles, as he charted a policy course toward expanding early childhood education, completely rewriting the education funding formula, and doubling down on his push to take state control of the St. Louis Police Department.
My mother worked hard to support
Governor Mike Keogh choking back tears, recalling what early childhood education would have meant.
My siblings and I.
Then he pivoted to police and public safety.
In St. Louis, we have one of the nation's top police chiefs in Chief Robert Tracy.
The governor praised Chief Tracy, but rejected his advice to stick with local control of his department.
The current status quo in St. Louis is unacceptable.
It is Chief Tracy's doing a great job.
House Republican Brad Christ acknowledged crime is trending down in the city, but suggested a state-appointed police board might improve staffing levels.
It's going to allow the police commissioners to run that department and the police chief to run more of his plan than having to appease the mayor at every turn.
But lawmakers from Kansas City say their state-run board hasn't worked.
We have not seen a reduction in crime in Kansas City. We have not seen what the governor is promising in St. Louis in Kansas City. So to point to what Kansas City is doing as a pillar of success is laughable.
The State of the State featured the traditional partisan divides you might expect on taxes.
To eliminate the individual income tax once and for all.
Taxes, while nobody loves to pay them, they fund vital services.
And the new governor sprinkled in some newer political jargon from Washington.
I'm working with House and Senate leadership to ensure Missouri has its own version of a DOGE government efficiency initiative very soon. A show me DOGE, if you will.
That idea drawing eye rolls from Democrats.
I think a Missouri DOGE is just to get headlines.
In Jefferson City, Mark Maxwell, 5 on your side.
Tonight, an 84-year-old man is dead, his wife recovering after a dump truck slammed into their home in Owensville, Missouri. The couple's son says Donald Fuchs was sitting in his favorite armchair at the time of the crash. His wife, Glenda, was just feet away doing their taxes. She's out of the hospital tonight. Police say it's unclear what caused the truck to lose control.
2 of the 3 suspects accused in a murder-for-hire plot of a Metro East woman appeared in court today. Portia Rowland was shot and killed outside her Collinsville home earlier this month. The suspected gunman, Gary Johnson, waived his right to a detention hearing. The accused mastermind, Sammy Schaefer, was also in court today. His defense attorney asked for a continuance as Rowland's friends called for justice.
We look forward, obviously, to entering a plea of not guilty and challenging that evidence.
I hope they never get out. I hope they sit in there and realize every single day that they took something amazing from everybody.
We're told Schaefer is the husband of Rowland's girlfriend. Prosecutors say he paid Marty Shaw $10,000 to kill her. He's being held right now in St. Louis County.
The accused gunman and the shooting death of the CBC hockey player Colin Brown entered a not guilty plea today. Garrett Jordan also waived a formal arraignment, allowing the case to proceed to trial. His co-defendant, Donovan Balcom, pleaded not guilty last week. Both were indicted by a grand jury on several charges, including the murder for the November shooting along I-55. Brown was hit by a stray bullet while riding home from a hockey game.
Tomorrow, a Franklin County woman who was just pardoned by President Donald Trump for her role in the January 6th Capitol riot will be sentenced for a deadly drunk driving crash. Back in November, Emily Hernandez pled guilty to charges in connection to the wrong-way crash on I-44 in March of 2022. Victoria Wilson died. Hernandez previously served 30 days in jail after pleading guilty for her involvement in the Capitol riot.
Good news tonight for a South St. Louis woman. She has her stolen wheelchair-accessible van back just hours after making a plea for its return right here on 5 on Your Side. We first introduced you to Sherry Schilling last night at 10. Her Dodge minivan was stolen Sunday night right outside her home in the Bevo neighborhood. This morning, she got a call from police that they found her van. Sherry is elated.
It's my independence. I got my independence back, and I really believe it's thanks to you guys for coming out and talking to me.
Sherry says police told her they arrested a suspect and recovered 3 other stolen cars. She says the van appears to be okay, but needs a good cleaning.
Good news tonight for the National Museum of Transportation in Kirkwood. Museum officials say they've raised the $20,000 needed to repair damage caused by vandals. Someone painted graffiti on 2 historic trolleys earlier this month. Police still looking for the vandals.
The convenience of payment apps could cost you at tax time.
It's a big burden.
The tax form to look out for before you file. A watershed moment caught on camera. The Missouri mishap that came too close for comfort in one neighborhood.
The next weather system bringing impacts to our area is entirely a rainmaker. When that rain moves in, how much falls, and if it's gone before the weekend.
The Illinois Supreme Court will take up an appeal by the former sheriff's deputy accused of killing Sonia Massey. Sean Grayson is charged with first-degree murder. He's fighting for a pre-trial release under Illinois' Safety Act. The Massey family argues the law was meant for low-level offenders who can't afford bail. No word on when the justices will make a ruling.
A warning tonight from public health officials near Kansas City on what's been called the country's largest tuberculosis outbreak since monitoring began in the 1950s. Right now, there are 67 cases in 2 Kansas counties across the Missouri border. 2 people have died. Doctors say the bacterial infection is airborne but hard to contract.
The most common symptoms that we ask for and we look for are things like persistent cough, bloody cough, or what's called hemoptysis, night sweats, and weight loss. 90% or more of those people never ever develop disease.
Treatment can include multiple rounds of antibiotics over the course of several months. The CDC has not recommended the use of a vaccine due to the low risk of infection.
Tax season is underway, and if you use pay apps like Venmo and PayPal, there's a big change this year.
In fact, it might mean you owe taxes. Gordon Sieferson explains who's impacted and what you need to do.
Real Sports Cards in Champlin is a typical retail business.
This is our basketball display case.
And Ryan Holland is a typical business owner.
We're responsible for collecting and remitting sales taxes and paying income taxes.
But most of his customers, sports card collectors, fall into a gray area when it comes to taxes.
They're buying and selling and buying and selling, and most of the time it's to subsidize their hobby expenses.
This year, many will receive this tax form, the 1099-K, if they receive money on payment apps like PayPal or Venmo.
It's a big burden on collectors who aren't a business.
And it's not just sports cards.
If you're an Uber driver or Lyft, anything you do through Shopify and Etsy and eBay.
CPA Scott Katerlich says anyone who received more than $5,000 through a payment app last year will receive one of these forms. For the 2025 tax year, the threshold drops to $2,500 and then $600 in 2026.
What you have to be careful of when you're using Venmo is actually define what those payments are for.
If the money is truly income, then yes, the IRS does expect you to pay taxes on it. But if the money is personal, say a few friends splitting a pizza, Katerlich says those payments will not get reported to the IRS if you label them correctly.
If you do receive a 1099-K for that by accident or in error, you need to let the provider know.
For collectors who buy and sell things like sports cards, Katerlich says you'll need to keep a log of all your transactions so you can show the money you spent and the money you earned.
There's definitely a risk that this deters people from engaging in sales.
Tax professionals say if the IRS receives one of these forms from a payment app and you don't declare it on your tax return, the IRS will send you a letter asking what happened with this money. And if you don't respond, the agency will add it on as income and you'll have to pay the taxes on it. For more information on how to file your tax returns for free and check the status of your refund, just text the word taxes to 314-425-5355 and we'll send you a link.
An old Missouri water tower set for demolition this week came crashing down today, but its free fall was not planned. Take a look. A cable put in place by demolition crews snapped on the rusted tower in Independence, causing it to fall in the wrong direction and landed in the yard of a nearby home. A car was damaged and power lines were snapped, but there were no injuries. Contractors are now working to clean up the mess.
Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell joins us now with the weather impact forecast. And what's really nice about the impact now is that we're feeling these warmer temperatures, Scott.
We're thawing out. And you might think it's a whoopsie here when you're looking at, Perryville at 34 and Farmington's 50. You have that range tonight because there are some spots where the winds have died down. We have mostly clear skies, and especially, say, here at Smart Field in St. Charles, where there's still some snow on the ground up towards Alton 2. It's a little bit colder there, but still 46 at Scott Air Force Base, 50 Farmington today, 63 in Farmington for the high this afternoon. Pretty impressive. We made it to 55 in St. Louis. The air's still fairly dry. Dew point's just 26, 49 degrees right now. That breeze out of the west, it's a stiff one at 18 miles per hour. We will drop back to around freezing north of St. Louis. There will be some spots close to that in some of the outlying areas where the winds die down. But for most of us tonight, it's just mainly clear. We still keep the breeze. Tomorrow, the wind's not as strong. Still pretty bright, but you have those high clouds coming in tomorrow. That's the harbinger of things to come. As we look to our southwest, those high clouds, you could see them off in the distance today to our southwest. They're now moving into southwest Missouri, more prevalent into Oklahoma, down into Texas. There's your spin in the upper levels of the atmosphere. That's the energy for our next system. Lots of moisture has been coming out of the Pacific, and as the system pulls its way out of the Rockies into the plains, it starts to add some moisture from the Gulf of Mexico. That starts to bring us rain as we head into Thursday. After 9 a.m. for a start time in St. Louis, probably just before lunchtime. Wet roads, definitely the impact there. You'll need the rain gear, and there will be slower travel. This storm system, there's the rain, timing it out for you on our doorstep about noon. Now, there's still some discussion as to where the heaviest rain will be widespread. Odds are it's more to the south and southeast of St. Louis. We may get into more of a showery situation here as we head into Thursday night and Friday. And we don't think the air coming in behind this system is particularly cold. 1 to 2 inches of rain pretty common across southern portions of Missouri. Some of our southern counties may be around that 2-inch mark, but then it really shuts down as you go farther north and west. And here's something else. We're starting to see that high resolution modeling now showing that the widespread heavier rain ends up going to the south and southeast of St. Louis. That's a trend we're seeing at the moment. That would leave us without a huge amount of rainfall for the Thursday evening rush hour. Just kind of keeping that in mind. Temperatures tonight, again, dropping back into the 30s. Tomorrow, low 50s. Next 7 days, mild by comparison to where we've been for most of January. A lot of sunshine Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Active weather in terms of scattered showers to widespread rain, heaviest expected in southeast Missouri over our southern counties. Metro area is kind of on that fence. We may miss out on some of the heaviest rain, and the weekends dry. And look at Sunday, 62.
62.
Wonder if that little groundhog will see its shadow.
I'm sure he will, or she.
Yeah.
That's right.
Thanks, Scott.
All right, Frank Sarah Sports.
Kelly, I don't know what was more surprising today in sports, the Blues cutting a guy with 260 career goals, or a fight at a Billiken game where the crowd tends to be a little bit older. Stick around, please.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Onder Law Injury Attorneys.
The Billikens hosted VCU tonight. The first place Rams had won 6 in a row. Here's the story. Gibson Jimerson has been in a big slump. However, when he scores 18 or more points, the Billikens are 8-0. We'll make it 9-0 now. How about this for star power? Billionaire Dr. Shavitz and JJK. What is this, a Laker game? Jimerson looked like the all-time leading scorer tonight, off the dribble and in your face. How about now behind the screen from way downtown? He had 26 points. Second best player on the floor, Kobe Johnson. He'll drain a 3. He had 19. Robbie Avila didn't have a great game, but he had a big bucket and one late right there. The Bills rolled 78-69, but how about this? A fight in the VCU section. Punches were thrown. Guys were bloodied at a Billiken game. All right, let's get back to Gibson Jimerson.
I haven't gotten to where I'm at because I get scared of missing shots. It means a lot. I appreciate that. But, for me, it's the confidence in the work that I've put in over the years. And, I might have stretches where I don't make shots. And, that's never going to affect me. I'm still going to, shoot them when I'm open. And
Yes, he will. The common denominator of the good GMs in all of sports is nerve, the guts to make a move. And Doug Armstrong made a big one today. He put a guy with 260 goals on his resume on waivers. And if Brandon Saad is not picked up by another team tomorrow, the 32-year-old will report to Springfield and play in the American Hockey League. Saad scored 69 goals over the past 3 seasons, but only had 7 this year in 43 games. His plus-minus a career worst, -14. Armstrong says this will give him a chance to see forward Alexander Texier play more. Saad has 7 20-goal seasons, but the Blues feel that may all be in the past.
Obviously, the production's not there. I think he scored in 4 games this year. He's got 7 goals, 3 goals, or 2 goals in 3 games.
It's a result-oriented league, and he hasn't been producing at the levels that he had in the past.
As players, you put it on yourselves because you don't want these, guys in these positions continuously, getting traded or waived or whatever it may be. So that's obviously a problem we have to fix internally.
Look who was in town today. Illinois head football coach Brett Bielema, and he knows our town produces top high school talent. His program in Champaign is on quite a roll. They finished the season ranked 16th in the country off a Citrus Bowl victory. We caught up with Bielema today to talk about that Illini momentum.
Illinois football right now is hopefully, on the verge of doing something really special. When I came here with Josh Whitman, our AD, we talked about building something that's sustainable success. It's fun for me to be in St. Louis and to, have a teacher walk out of the hallway and give me an ILL and just to see the kids represented. And then when we meet these kids, we were in 3 schools this morning where we walked in, those kids were beaming from, ear to ear.
It was an electric atmosphere for a wonderful rivalry across the river, Columbia hosting Waterloo. The Bulldogs throw it inside to 6'5" Max Oswald, a delicate little reverse there. Sam Donald will come down and hit the jumper, and Columbia rolls the final 52-39. And it's a big victory for them, and what a night at Shavitz.
Wow. A fight in the stands, but a big Billiken win.
Yeah, it was.
Thank you, Frank.
All right, a special Valentine's for the cold-hearted snake in your life. How sweet revenge can benefit some cold-blooded animals at a St. Louis attraction.
Sunday is Groundhog Day, and the St. Louis Wheel is taking a cue from the 1993 Bill Murray movie. Riders can take a spin that never seems to end, over and over and over again. Tickets sold on Sunday will be for unlimited rides. The cost is $19 for adults, $13.40 for kids ages 3 to 12. The 200-foot tall observation wheel at Union Station will be open Sunday from 10 until 8.
And the St. Louis Aquarium is hoping some scorned lovers will spread some love this Valentine's Day to its education and conservation programs. The Love Bites fundraiser allows you to buy a veggie, superworm, or cricket that will be named after your ex and fed to an animal. The aquarium will even send you a video. We have more info in the As Seen on TV section at KSDK.com.
And a quick final check of the weather with Scott.
It looks like the weekend's going to be pretty decent around St. Louis with mild weather. We do have the rain coming in on Thursday, but it's after the morning rush hour, and the heaviest rain will end up southeast of St. Louis as we go through the day. Enjoy tomorrow. We're in the low 50s.
And there you have it. 5 on your side at 10. We're always streaming on 5+.
Start your day with Today in St. Louis beginning at 4 a.m. Have a great tomorrow.